11 a.m. in Central African Time. Thank you very much for the visit and for tuning in via satellite across the African continent via channel PAS10 is where we are. Otherwise, Southern Africa, you can find us on the DSTV audio bouquet platform on channel 802. Dr. Mmatheo Motsisi is in studio with me. She is a physiotherapist. We know her as a medical legal practitioner and a healer. But I think also what's really important to note is the fact that she is an author of Odyssey of a Healer, now in its second edition. And we're going to explore these wonderful themes with her that come through in the book. Her journey that hopefully will inspire yours as well. Dr. Motsisi, it's so beautiful to see you. I know I don't call you that when we're having our private conversations.
Thank you, Mmatsheko, for having me in your studio and for the granted opportunity to share insight and also to give back to the universe, that which was I've also had the chance to live, explore, breathe. So when the light has been, the veil has been lifted, you feel the need to also contribute in others in the lifting of their own veil, in them identifying and coming to the realization or the remembering that the power lies within them to know thyself, to reinvent, to recreate, and to arise from the ashes like a phoenix and rebirth self anew during this era of transformation upon us in the blue pearl, Mother Earth.
The blue pearl, Mother Earth. Thank you for that. That is so beautiful. You have already uplifted the energy of this studio. And before we talk about the book itself, Odyssey of a Healer, I want us to get to know you a little bit better. You know, I want us to begin with Mmatheo Motsisi and really look at your life's journey, how you found physiotherapy, how you look at holistically the mind, body, spirit as one whole, which is one thing you always advocate for everywhere you go.
In this world, we all go to school. School, I call it a place where you are programmed to play a specific social role. But I've come to the awakening and the realization that a healer is not made, a healer is born. Just like a leader is not made, a leader is born. So before I came to even play the social role of being a physio and all these other social roles, I come from a lineage, ancestral lineage of healers that goes back to 7 generations behind me or even beyond. So I carry forward that which was already in my spiritual identity before I became this physical being that the world knows as Mmatheo, meaning the mother of foundation, Motsisi, that's my surname. So from early childhood, I thought I was like everybody else because we all think we like everybody else. And it just became evident that I will experience things, I'll be sensitive to certain things, and when I verbalize them, I will always be scolded and say, no, why are you not like other children? Why you behave funny? Why are you doing things that are not on? So you grow up and then you realize that Maslow's law, or if you studied psychology, Freud, you are credited for behaving in a certain way, you get a lollipop. If you don't behave in a certain way, you get punished. So the programming took stage from early childhood, where I knew if I toe the line, I will be given credit for towing the line.
Yeah.
And if I allow my authentic self, which I had suppressed, I think for a long time, even towards my adulthood, to come out, to allow the inner radiance, the inner sun, to be in sync with the outer sun, and to allow that radiance to come out and embrace it unapologetically without seeking external validation. That sets me free. It took me a long time, maybe close to 20 decades, trying to be everybody and be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And when that finally, I realized that, you know, this era that we are in, the great era of transformation upon us, people, we are all faced with shedding off, like a serpent, shedding off that which is no longer serving us. People are asking, when I say people, including me, in that collective noun people, we asking, what's our real purpose of being here? Why? Who am I? That's the first question you'll find in my first edition of Odyssey and second edition. Who am I beyond this physical lump of meat? Who am I? And if you answer that, why am I here? What am I doing here? Is there a purpose, or I'm just caught up in the red race, or doing what everybody's doing, or there's a higher purpose that I'm here to fulfill? So I was faced with those questions. Still playing the social roles that I'm playing. Having gone, being a scholar, having studied, I still experience a lot of emptiness. Emptiness where acquired knowledge from institution, the roles that I was playing in the community, they were not actually filling up the spiritual hunger within me. I had to go deeper. The religion, I was raised as a Christian, it was not actually touching the deeper aspect of my being. My being was still asking, what's the primary purpose of you being here? And that's the theme that runs throughout. And during this era, I come across a lot of clients, family members, and almost people I come across. Most people, the question now, successful according to the standard of this world, how success is defined, they're asking the questions, having achieved so many, I've got it all, money and all the works, but I'm still empty. There's a spiritual hunger. And that spiritual hunger, I'm a scholar. The institutions, they will never fill that void of the spiritual hunger. Money will never fill that void of spiritual hunger. Whatever success that you deem success, all the material things that you've acquired during your earthly visit, it's not going to fill that hunger. I'm speaking from experience. I had to empty myself and realize that none of the things I've accumulated during this brief earthly visit has succeeded in filling the hunger. And I had to go on my knees and go deeper and seek my real, authentic identity, which is one with Source.
Going beyond the meat suit that you have been borrowed is what she advocates. That's such a beautiful story. And I resonate deeply with your story because I've walked a similar journey. You are just so deeply misunderstood, where things upset you and everyone else is laughing about them. And I'm just like, how is this funny when it is a real problem? And I resonate with that, and I resonate with many other wonderful feminine archetypes that have worked a similar spiritual journey, and I value this so much. For anybody who is ready to receive this information, I'm really happy that you are able to catch this broadcast as we continue our conversations with Dr. Mmatheo Motsisi in studio with me. Let's take a break and return.
Women who lead, women who lift, women who inspire. African woman. This is Women's Month on Channel Africa. Conversations are happening, and Channel Africa is at the heart of them. We tell the African story with clarity, pride, and purpose, reaching audiences that matter to your brand. Partner with us and connect your business with listeners across borders in multiple languages and markets. For partnership opportunities, sponsorship, or sales, email us at partnership@channelafrica.co.za. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Look closer. Listen deeper. This is The Journal with Mmatheko Mosito on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
We're 27 minutes into 11 a.m. in Central African time, in studio with Dr. Mmatheo Motsisi, joining me in her capacity as the author of Odyssey of a Healer. And we're really exploring a lot of the themes in the second edition, which is the most recent edition of her personal explorations on healing, on, the things that she's learned. And I think what's so important about your story is you carry experience. Sometimes when I go on social media and I see, younger men and women, sharing their perspectives. And I think that, well, that's lovely that you've got the theory behind what you're saying. You still, in the moment, which is so beautiful, but there's something different about women that have really walked certain journeys and men that have walked certain journeys. They share the experience of what it is. So beyond the theory, you have the experience of this life, of this realm, and you've participated in so many wonderful things, but have walked through several journeys. In your journey of writing the book, the very first edition of the book, I want to get an understanding of where you were, and not just the physical Mmatheo, not the meat suit you, but in your awakenings and what perhaps in your perspectives and how they were shifting. Because I would imagine after the age of 40, it's hormonal, it's spiritual, it's awakening. So many things are happening. Where were you mentally when you were thinking of putting pen to paper?
You're taking me back. It's a touchy moment. I was going through the dark night of the soul. I was in a deep tunnel. And a tunnel where, when you are in this world, everybody will tell you how to get out. People are quick to advise. But a dark night of the soul, it's a dark night of the soul. You cannot seek guidance from a mere human being who's still also trying to navigate their own terrain. In this world, I just want to draw a parallel or maybe clarify. Institutions, we are trained to prioritize acquired knowledge. Acquired knowledge where you've been taught, you've been programmed. Acquired knowledge is not synonymous to the knowledge that you gain through experience. Acquired knowledge from the books, you are taught. If you say I, A, E, O, U, and you can recite I, A, E, O, U, brilliant, you are given a score. Whether you understand how I, A, E, O, U was formulated or whichever, that's not important. That's acquired knowledge. So you can understand being a scholar. I had accumulated a lot of acquired knowledge. There were protocols. You do this, you don't do that. I got tired of following protocols because they were no longer making sense to me. And something deeper in me kept telling me that there's more to what I've been told or programmed or allowed myself to be programmed, not only by institutions, from as early as when you are a child. Yeah. You imitate. We learn by imitation as children. So I learned from my parents. I went to school. I imitated the teachers. I went to university. I had to produce what the institution want. I start working. I must do what the company wants. I must toe the line. So I was faced in a dilemma. Have I ever lived for self? Self, there are two. Let me explain about self. Okay. There's the infinite self, which is associated to the soul, which is the spirit, and there's the self, which is the physical. So when I ask myself, have I lived to the self, I realized I was actually entertaining the physical body beyond the spirit, not realizing that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way round. So the wheel had to turn. And life is not linear. Life is cyclical. So I had to turn, go back to the wheel, to the source, and reinvent myself and realize that, after all, I am a spiritual being having a physical experience, and I need to awaken and embrace that.
I love that. And I want to talk about that remembrance, because that's essentially what it is. It's a remembrance that ended up in an Odyssey of a Healer. The second edition is what we're talking about. There is just a high integrity that Divine Feminines holds that I can't put into words. But we're going to continue our conversation after this news block. Fikile Lingwati now standing by with the latest sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African